Wokier than thou Hollywood. So, are they finally admitting and aware that they're making the far left-wing version of Pureflix movies? Got it! Hello, everyone. I am Mecca. Mango juice is a thing that we're shaking. For money? I don't know. If anybody wants to help support the channel, please do so. We jiggle and we're doing it live. And I forgot to change out to the Christmas background. Oh, it's okay. This kind of looks like garland. Kind of looks like garland. I can probably add some lights around it, couldn't I? It'll pass for Christmas. We're the wreath. We're inside the wreath. We're the mini fractals of it for our Christmas time. Remember all those Pureflix movies that were saying that the far left wackadoos were out there banning Christmas and now they're all coming true? I guess they're just admitting that Hollywood is just now the anti-Pureflix, because let's face it, Pureflix, for people who don't know, they are the worst worst acted, written, directed propaganda for the super duper duper religious, far right wing sort of people. They're kind of fun to laugh at and make fun of if you're just a normal sane person. And now we're seeing more from the other side. We're seeing stuff, and I guess they're admitting it, like West Side Story coming into play. Shout out to Bounding Into Comics for this article. West Side Story screenwriter Tony Kushner describes the film as an anti-racist democratic musical. Is it like a democratic vote, or is it a Democrat Party only? Is this they're just admitting it now? They're just admitting that it's for the far left. You know, those crazy people that only make up probably about 2% of the country. I mean, even Hollywood is now kind of, some of them are calling it out here and there. Anti-racist basically just means categorizing and segregating into racial stereotypes. It's actually super racist. It's like a super premised version of racism. And West Side Story, did you really need to come back and do any of this? Did we need another version? Did we really? Because who cares? The original was so corny and cheesy as it is, as a cringe-alicious thing. And I know a lot of people love it. People are gonna be like, but Mecca, it's a classic and people love it. I know, I'm picking on West Side Story. I'm sorry. Who watches movie musicals? See, I like a good, like, weird, obscure one every now and then. Like I tell people, I'll watch Shock Treatment all day. This, this is just so mainstream and corny and weird and, it's not even weird, is it? So they're just admitting it. Kushner's comments came in a lengthy interview with Seth, I'm not going to try and pronounce that one, Abramovich of The Hollywood Reporter, promoting the Steven Spielberg directed remake. Spielberg's got to do remakes now. Were they trying to, do they have dirt on him? Do they have to cancel him now? Because I know he stepped down from Indiana Jones 5 for this. It was for this one, right? It was just, why you gotta remake West Side Story? I don't really think musicals so much when I think Spielberg. I think more like the E.T. sorta, or Jaws, or I don't know. Was he a big musical guy? Is this going over my head? Am I gonna get called out like what's her name, that blonde idiot who directed Charlie's Angels, Elizabeth Banks? She's kind of cute, huh? I kind of like looking at her. We all like looking at her. She's just nice. She can just keep her mouth closed. Didn't she call out Spielberg? She's like, oh my god, he didn't direct a single movie with like a female lead. Oh yeah, except The Color Purple and all these other movies that he directed. But I'm still right, because he still directed them. He didn't have like a woman direct. Well, then why would he have a woman direct? I care so little about this. I lost the joke like 5 minutes in. My whole comment on this was they're admitting that they're basically the far left version of a Pureflix movie. That's all I have. Here we go. While answering Abramovich's first question about what his initial thoughts were when he found out that Spielberg wanted to remake West Side Story, Kushner revealed that he got excited about a number of things Spielberg was telling him. Like what? When asked to elaborate, he stated, Steven has a real knack for figuring out where the fault lines in society are, what's in the zeitgeist right now, and what people are concerned about. And he thinks that with the #1 songs on the radio being how many versions of Let's Go Brandon, he thinks that people want this wokier than thou bullshit. Really? How well did Ready Player One do? Because I remember people saying, Who's it for? It's a commercial for things. It's a commercial for Godzilla, and it's a commercial for every other damn thing, right? Steven Spielberg. Do you really want the Wokier than thou stuff, people? I don't think so. When we have the #1 song being like, in the last couple weeks ago, being like the Let's Go Brandon shit, when you have Santa Inc. being one of the most downvoted things in history, isn't it 150 or 60,000 down to, what, 3,000 up at this point? You really, really want to go and push this anti-racist cult shit because nobody wants to be racist, and all this crapping preaching does is just gonna make people want to push the envelope and tell racial jokes. That's all it's gonna do, and you're just creating a divide, and you're just creating a blowback, and you're just creating a little cult of wokier than thou lunatics who think that they're morally superior and have to go and call out everybody else's behavior except their goddamn own. Kushner touched on the film's source material, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, saying the source material is about hatred between two groups that are sort of two sides of the same coin. Nobody even knows why the Capulets and Montagues hate each other. Really? They never did any studies on that? See, I'm no Shakespearean expert. But, Rob, are you a Shakespearean expert? Okay. Did they ever find out why the Capulets and Montagues hated each other, or they just did? I don't know. That's just odd. That's given a misimpression about West Side Story, which is that the Jetsons and Sharks are the Capulets and the Montagues. They're not, he stated. Yeah, it's like the 25% different version of Shakespeare, you know? With this, it does this one a lot. This is this one. That's this one. Yeah, that's really, really lame. Oh, and we're not allowed to say lame. We got a video on that that's related. We can't say lame anymore. I'm sorry, this is corny and cheesy, and this is like 1960s cringe. This is as cringe as Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli rapping on the Judy Garland show. I know, I watched it. Okay, that's what this is. This is embarrassing. This is like watching white people try and rap. Like companies. You know, like you'll see all those old training videos, you know, hey, I'm Lisa Simpson and I'm here to say, you know, those sort of rapping things. That's what this is to me when I see this. So yes, I'm going to rip on West Side Story. And if people don't like that, I ripped on Grease too. You can cancel me for not liking Grease. Because I said it sounds like chickens clucking. Not only did Kershner claim that West Side Story is anti-racist Democrat musical, but he also revealed he changed the backstories of numerous characters for this new film to make them oppressed or something. Did they have to fake their own oppression like Juicy? There are things in the new screenplay that are true to what Arthur wrote. The actual lines that Arthur wrote. And then there's an enormous amount that's different. I was so sort of surprised to find that there was a lot of room for expanding certain aspects of all the characters, changing certain things like Tony's backstory, Maria's backstory for that matter, or Bernardo's backstory, Riff's, he really. So he's just changing out everybody, right? So is it even West Side Story, or is this is the 25% different one, you know, for... Then he revealed he created a new Puerto Rican woman to replace Doc. We changed one major character, my husband's idea. I told him I was going to do West Side Story. He said, what are you going to do about Doc? Ned Glass is a wonderful actor, but we always found the Doc character in the movie a little borscht belt. Is that racist against people who eat borscht? Is that racist? Is that supposed to be like a Russian? Is that what it is? Oh... So I created a new character who was the widow of Doc, but who was Puerto Rican, and then we offered it to Rita, the first person. Okay, so they kind of just swapped out a character just to kind of bring in somebody from the old one, right? She was in the old one, right? So they just wanted Rita Moreno to win. But she got canceled for not being dark enough, for weighing in on Puerto Rican on the... Remember the whole In the Heights movie, where people were saying that they were not Afro-Latino looking enough or something. They weren't dark-skinned enough. They were showing too many light-skinned ethnic people, and people were complaining about it, and Rita Moreno stepped in, and they got really mad at her. They tried to cancel her for it, so I don't care. I just don't care. So this is an unnecessary thing, and they're pandering with this whole political polarization, much like Santa Inc. did, to grift the community into talking about this, because let's face it, nobody would remember this was even out Yeah, here we go. In the Heights, the similarly themed musical Latin cast, Latin themes. It came under fire unexpectedly for not having enough diversity in the casting. Did you and Steven discuss that? Here we go. Oh, absolutely. I began reading a ton of books about Puerto Rican and I can't pronounce that experience. And the first thing I ran into was a question of color line of Afro-Puerto Ricans and those issues, I said to Steven. As a very, very, very lily white, vampiric looking person, I just am more concerned about how this is playing on society and fans of this. I think I'm the best person to talk about this, being somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight of the racial or the musical thing, because I can come in and say, look, you guys are trying to play off a crowd of people who, let's face it, you got the super duper, the theater sort of people who are very diverse. And when I was in school, many of the gays and the girls who hung around the gays and the gender people and those sort of people, those were your theater types, all right? That's mostly a lot of what your theater types are. Those are the people who tend to really like the movie musicals. That is why Star Trek Discovery has such a huge Anthony Rapp following, and that's why they pander to that sort of crowd. And I think that's what they're trying to do with this. They know their audience and they're going for it. Should they be, are they actually insulting people? Are they mad? Are they going to blame us for it making or losing money? Hopefully not. Oh, they're talking about Odin, talking about thing. All right. So, I think they're just trying to pander and use us. Oh God, Bob Iger. What Bob Iger do? They're trying to pander to their crowd by attacking the crowd of people who wouldn't probably see it anyway. That's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? That's what they usually do, because that's what they did with the Santa Inc. thing. I wasn't going to watch that shit until, you know, they started attacking everybody. Oh, you're just a white supremacist. Yeah, and you just like flashing your boobs for things that kids might stumble upon, you know, to corrupt them. I am Mecca, and is that hypocritical to call out when people say that to me? I'm not naked, though. I'm going back to my live chat. Don't you go anywhere. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!